at 1.
Good afternoon. You know what time it is, 1 p.m. Central East African time. I can assure you the corridors of current affairs are beaming fire. You know, from Pasis Namuganza to NSS Safe, I can assure you just a few minutes, hours, Kawempe South Member of Parliament Bashir Kazwe just landed there. Victoria Bagachi, good is my name. Our job is very easy, to keep tabs on what is happening there and bring it to you here at the Political Command Center. We'll be starting it off all the way in Munyonyo, where President Yoweri Museveni says the success of the South-South Triangular Cooperation will depend on the extent to which it develops solutions to the 13 strategic bottlenecks of Africa. This is according to the speech read on his behalf by the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, as she presided over the opening of the Africa High-Level Forum of the South-to-South Triangular Cooperation at a Commonwealth Resort in Munyonyo. Hakim Wampamba, our business reporter, standing by for us to give us a sneak peek of what is happening. Hakim, the beginning of this very important conversation, a debate, bringing different countries under one roof, discussing so many other things. What are those they have started with this morning? We do apologize for that technical glitch. Hakim Wampamba will be joining us at a later stage to give us the details of what is happening at Munyonyo, where a high-level meeting is happening as we speak. Away from that, the Ugandan National Meteorological Authority has urged motorists to be very cautious as parts of the country experience occasional rains. They say such may trigger increased fog and hazy conditions. This also warned of a possible water shortage in the regions of Northeast and the Karamoja sub-region. Take a look.
Against the usual dry season, some parts of the country have seen rains in January, which is usually a dry month. A senior meteorologist at the Uganda National Meteorological Authority, Abeka Kalema, has therefore called for caution among motorists, saying the situation could also see increased fog and haziness.
Tourists have some fog and hazy conditions, and this one really affects the traffic flow, and it always brings accidents. So we really advise our people to really be very cautious when driving on the road, you know, because when it's fog, the visibility is very poor and you can't see beyond a kilometer.
However, the authority adds that even with the occasional rains in some parts of the country, a number of regions including North, East, Karamoja sub-region will continue to see the dry spell. These have therefore warned that the dry spell could trigger water shortage in some areas. Victor Tayewa, NBS, live at 1.
Well, that goes to farmers as well. As we prepare, many have seen tilling and preparing for the season that is incoming in March. Hopefully, with all the changes in the environment, it won't be affected and we'll be able to plant, putting myself in the mixes as well. Well, away from that, on an unfortunate event, police in Shema are investigating circumstances under which a mother and a one-year-old son were murdered on a Sunday evening. 30-year-old Atuheire Livia was killed on her way from Bushenyi, where she had gone to celebrate her son's birthday, and was now headed to Chonjera in Shema municipality. Alex Mugasha standing by for us. Alex, it's unfortunate news coming in from your region, especially a mother and son losing their lives. But then, what do we know? What are the investigations showing so far as we speak?
Well, thank you very much, Victoria. A very good afternoon to you and to our viewer. Indeed, like you said, very unfortunate incident that happened over the weekend. That's on Sunday at around 10 p.m. when this 30-year-old woman by the names of Sylvia Atuheire and her one-year-old baby or son, with whom they were coming from Bushenyi to celebrate the birthday of this very young boy, just 1 year old. And when they had just reached in Chonjera playground, that is in Shema, for those who are very much familiar with that area, and that is where they were residing. This lady was a shop attendant or a shopkeeper in that very area. Now, the funny bit of it is that the husband of this woman was together with them in Bushenyi as they celebrated the birthday of this young boy. But of course, an unknown person with whom they haven't yet identified by the name, but not by the face, followed them as they boarded a taxi from Bushenyi to Shema. And when this lady reached in Chitojo, Chitojo is in Shema, now that border stage, this lady moved out, but also this unknown person also moved out. But the husband to this lady continued to Mbarara because that is where he was heading. But of course, questions remain on whether this very unknown person could be the person behind the killing of this young lady and the son. But of course, police on their side say that the investigations have kicked off, although at least no suspect yet has been apprehended or has been arrested of course, in collaboration with this very unfortunate incident that happened over the weekend. Because as I spoke to the spokesperson of Greater Bushenyi Police, that is Mr. Marshall Tumusime, told me that at least they haven't yet arrested anybody and no yet suspect has been apprehended or is in custody of police. But as I speak, at least the bodies or the two bodies of these deceased at least have been taken to Kashari in Mbarara, where they will be laid to rest later today. But of course, it's unfortunate. However, questions remain whether this person that boarded with the deceased, that is Ms. Atuheire and the son, could be the person behind this killing of these two people, because this lady also was seen receiving money, about 1.5 million Uganda shillings, by this very person that is still in the question. So we can only wait to see and wait for investigations that will be coming from police, from Greater Bushenyi Police, in as far as this murder case is concerned. But Victoria and our viewers, you can see that people are losing humanity if very young people of this tender age can be killed, and someone who is at 25 to 30 years ending a life just like that in a very short while. Very unfortunate, and as the journalists or reporters would definitely condemn that. For now, you will permit me get back to you, Victoria, and continue with NBS Live at 1. Good afternoon.
You're speaking about money. This gentleman probably could have seen this lady receive the money. I'm wondering whether the police has recovered the phone. Do we have any information about that?
Well, Victoria, it's unfortunate that police still, like I said, they have kicked off the investigations, and at least preliminary investigations indicate that they are still depending on hearsay. And the truth is, they haven't yet recovered anything like a phone or anything that could at least indicate the last person that this lady spoke to. However, one of the relatives of the husband of this lady at least witnessed this money being given to this lady, and that gentleman at least being in presence of this transaction, and also witnessed the fact that as this lady, Miss Atweide Sylvia, who is now the late, boarded this taxi, this gentleman was also in the same taxi, and as he moved out, also he moved out with them. So probably it remains a question, and police will definitely begin from that. Victoria.
A few facts there and there. At least we know there was money involved. And you know how the economy is performing. People are quite desperate. I hope we don't lose humanity because suffering does not go away. Thank you, Alex, for that report. Well, I wish I had good news for you coming from a different region, but no, I don't. 5 people have been arraigned before the Fort Portal Chief Magistrates Court, and these have been remanded to Katojo Prison after they were charged with trafficking in persons. The accused are said to have trafficked more than 4 girls from different areas of the country to Fort Portal City. Julius Nabimanya standing by for us at court for more details. Julius, I remember last week we talked to the minister, and some of these are the conversation that we had about the trafficking of persons, of girls actually, specifically in Rwenzori sub-region. And here we are having some of these culprits. I'm wondering, do we know where the girls are? Are they safe? Are they back with their families? Or what do we know?
Well, Victoria Bagay and our viewers, at this very time, victims are currently at the police. They are being kept by police, Rwenzori West Police, so as the court does its work. And this very Chief Magistrate Court of Fort Portal has started hearing this case, the criminal case of trafficking in persons that is involved by five the accused who were remanded to Katojo Prison on Friday. So these are accused of what is going on here, and the victims are currently at the police. So this very court is now hearing from witnesses, trying to correct the evidence, and it is said to hear from the very victims tomorrow to hear what they are going through and how they came to be in Fort Portal. As you know, that matters to do with court, we all have to at this very time be report on the court, because you know, Victoria, I also don't want to become one of the witnesses. But what I can tell you as of now is that the court remanded the accused on Friday. They are now hearing from the eyewitnesses, and the victims are to be heard tomorrow. And they were coming from different parts of the country, and they are currently in Fort Portal, but at the police, they are in hands of police. So after hearing from them and whether the accused will be guilty, and then that is another case, another story to report, and it will give the way forward for the judge to give her judgment. But that is what is going on. That is what is going on at the moment. The victims, however, we cannot access them. So at this time they are still at the police. But it is the eyewitness who tipped the police for the police to take action of arresting these accused and arraign them to a court. So this is the matter we are following up to make sure that we know what the court will say after correcting the evidence from the eyewitness, from the victims, and once they get information, so then we shall be reporting in our reports. Victoria.
You're looking for, I think Nabimanya is up to this, is very much trying to respect court procedure. You don't speak on a matter, especially when it is under investigation or if it is being heard in the court of law. We'll take a short commercial break and return with more stories. Stay tuned.
Work, work, work. Work's over. Busy Biter, get down to snack business. When snacking is under attack, we'll be there to fight back.
Bright stars are